sick. So 2 days now. 2 days now he's been sick. He lives in Los Angeles. And we canceled yesterday's shoot. He was going to come down today, and he called today. He was feeling okay, and then took his dog Sunny for a walk and started feeling crappy. And kid doesn't have the best stomach of anybody that I know, but I don't know. I think he's got like a little flu or bug or something. So he's feeling okay. Took the little dog for a walk, Sunny, his beagle, and then felt shitty when he was up and walking around. Went and sat back down again and went and laid down. And I said, don't come down. I mean, you're just going to feel like crap driving down the freeway from Los Angeles. It's 2 hours from here and whatever. So then I called Lynn and I go, so here's what we can do. I can shoot something by myself and talk to the lovely people. You can come, and this is where Lynn sits here and pushes buttons and switches cameras and stuff like that. And I said, we can set up the cameras in there in the kitchen so that one is wide, so you see a bunch of the kitchen and me, maybe a fairly tight one of just my head. So when I want to address the camera, close, that will be the shot. And then one on whatever I'm working on so that you can see a close-up of the food. Lynn said, let's not do that. The other option was that I do this by myself, whatever. So Lynn's going to come tomorrow. We're going to shoot something. Hopefully Max will be better by then. And if not, then it'll just be me and Lynn. Anyway, so this was salad week, summer salad week that we've now effed up. So I apologize for that. So it's just us. It's like, imagine that this is like a radio show. You just shut your eyes and just listen. And I will either lull you to sleep or fill you full of information that perhaps you didn't know. I'm drinking my favorite. Show a label. Oolong tea. Japanese oolong tea. It's like iced tea. It's like Japanese iced tea, basically, but made with oolong tea as opposed to whatever kind of tea regular tea is made with. Green tea, I guess. And I learned to drink this in Japan with sochu, which is a grain alcohol. Those two together with a little lemon, I spent a lot of time there drinking and really loved it. Now I like to just buy this by itself and drink it. And I have to remind myself not to look at myself on the screen, which is I should probably put something there and just look at that, because sometimes I'm looking down here. I'm on two screens right here, and I have to be cognizant of the fact that you're not there, you're there. Specifically right there. So, I have a list of common cooking mistakes. I thought we could go through some of these. I'm going to try and not make this like 17 hours long. But I thought we could go through some of these things and I could chat a little bit about it because I find them kind of interesting, If you know my story at all, you know that I didn't come from a cooking background. I was planning. Oh, do you hear the vacuum? The cleaning lady's here today. It's maybe not the perfect time to do this, but it is what it is. How close can I get? I want to feel like I'm just having really a conversation with you. So I didn't come from a cooking background. I like to say cooking found me. I didn't find cooking. And a lot of, what I now know and do is clear experience. What's that thing that they say that if you do something for 10,000 hours, any one thing for 10,000 hours, you will have mastered it? Phew. I don't think I've cooked for 10,000 hours, and I certainly haven't mastered it. But the stuff that I know is way more than I knew when I started. Do you see what I'm doing? I have like this little, it's not nervous like tick, but I bite this middle part of my lip. Sometimes it's like it itches. Oh, hold on. This is Max. We'll watch here. Let's do this on the speakerphone. Hold on. Hey, Max.
Hey.
I figured it out. I'm recording right now, so you can say hi to everybody.
Hello, Livecast Nation.
Tell us what's wrong with you.
I have a bad stomach.
Do you have diarrhea?
No, oh God.
Well, I'm your father. I'm trying to figure this out. Maybe I
No,
could help.
I'm nauseous. When I'm on my feet, I'm nauseous.
Well, maybe you're pregnant or something.
And a little bit achy.
What have you eaten today?
Not much.
What exactly? Don't lie to me, 'cause I'll know.
I had an English muffin
Yes.
and
What was on the English
what else
muffin?
did butter
Yes. Keep going.
and a banana.
That's it?
That's it.
That sucks. And you're already thin enough. Can you get some food in you? Try chicken soup.
Yeah, that's a good call. I'm gonna try and put some stuff down.
I talked to Grandma last night. Everybody's
Uh-huh.
listening to this. I talked to Grandma last night, and she wasn't feeling well, and she had chicken soup in her freezer with matzo balls that were frozen. I went to the store. I bought and made matzo balls and packaged chicken soup because I didn't have the time and or the inclination to make it. But I had matzo ball chicken soup with matzo ball and noodles last night. That was a 10. You should go do that.
I was just gonna say I might have to pick some up.
Okay, go do that.
All right.
Okay, feel better. I'll send this off to you in a little bit.
All right. Thank you.
Goodbye. Well, there you go. He got all pissed off when I asked about the diarrhea, which probably means he has it. So hurt, but I asked that right here. So, so the point is that maybe it's not been 10,000 hours, but I have a lot more knowledge now, and I know more of what I'm doing. So, here's a list of common cooking mistakes, and I'm just going to read some, and we can chat about them. I can chat about them. Well, the vacuum cleaner gets freaking louder and louder. God. Okay. You don't taste as you go. Look, unless it's raw chicken that's in front of you, you should taste as you go. That's the time. That's the opportunity for you to adjust seasonings and stuff. Right? There's nothing worse. Well, I suppose there are things that are worse, but I hate it when you bring something to the table and you put it down and you taste it and you go, oh, this needs like salt, or it needed more mustard, or whatever. I'd like to say, just because some chef kind of person has put recipes in a book, it doesn't mean that the shit's going to turn out exactly the way they say it is. And just because they say cook it for a certain amount of time or do that, whatever, you need to taste as you go, and you need to use your head as you go. If that freaking vacuum cleaner is just getting fucking louder and louder, I'm going to have to stop for a second and figure that thing out. So, do that. Taste as you go. And let's start it again. And use your head. If you read a recipe and it doesn't make sense, like you're making a cake and it says add 4 cups of sugar, and you're making a little cake, right? Maybe that's a typo, and it should be 1/4 cup of sugar. So cook it for 15 hours. Maybe it's meant to be an hour and a half. God knows there's plenty of mistakes in my cookbooks. Nothing worse than putting out a cookbook and like the next day somebody writes and goes, hey, the chicken and, I don't know, bacon pizza on page 75, there's no bacon in the recipe list. Ugh, thank you. I needed to know that right now. Okay, so that's important. And speaking of chef recipes, reading a recipe all the way through is hugely important. Hugely important. Because what you might find is that somewhere buried deep down in the recipe, it'll say, make the sauce 24 hours in advance. And you never imagined that had to happen because maybe you've made that kind of thing before, right? So reading the recipe all the way through will make sure that you know specifically what is going to be asked of you. Don't assume that you know what's going on because you might not know what's going on. Let's see what other things are on here. Apparently being too casual with measuring spoons and cups is a problem. And I say it's only a problem if you're baking. Baking is a real science, right? If you don't have the right amount of baking powder, baking soda, flour, sugar, salt, whatever it's supposed to be, things might not rise or get fluffy or do the baking things, right? Cooking is a whole different ball of wax. You can very easily wing it. And I think you should wing it. What do they say? Close enough is only good for hand grenades. I don't know, horseshoes. I don't never played horseshoes, but I can't remember. But certainly being close enough with hand grenades is true. I say this. If you were asked to measure out a tablespoon of sugar without the use of a measuring spoon, I'm pretty certain you'd be really close. And because the quantity of what you're making is never like just this. It's never just that little tiny amount where an extra half a tablespoon or an extra quarter of a tablespoon might make a difference. If you're making a cake that calls for a tablespoon of sugar, and you put in a tablespoon and a quarter, a tablespoon and a half in a big cake, it's not going to make that much difference. It really isn't. In fact, I think there's a benefit in not using measuring implements. And the benefit is this. You start to become freer with what you do in the kitchen. Half tablespoon, whatever. Measure that. Cup of liquid, you can figure that out. Visually, you have a sense of what these things are. Unless this is your first day cooking, you're going to be fine with that kind of stuff. So what I believe happens when you give up those measuring tools, the proviso being, unless it's baking, is that you find freedom elsewhere in the kitchen, such as the vacuum cleaner going off again. Why me? Why me? Why me? Ugh. So let me just finish this thought. I'll take a break and then I'm going to come back. When the vacuum cleaner's off, I believe that freedom in the kitchen comes from doing like this. Well, the recipe calls for chicken and I thought I had chicken. You open it up and it's not there. So what can I substitute for the chicken? I don't have green pepper. What else could I use? I'd like to say pick one night of the week, and Sunday would be ideal. It's generally considered the last day of the week. Don't open new packages of things. Use up what you've already opened in your fridge. And I think what happens is you'll start to find you're way more creative than you think. People will come up and say, I can't cook. And I go, no, it's not that you can't cook. It's that you don't cook. And therein lies a very important difference. All right, I can't take this. I'm just going to put a gun to my head in a second. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to take a quick break. It'll be not very long for you. For me, it'll be a little bit longer. But when the vacuum cleaning stops, I'm going to come back. Don't go away. It's the Sam Livecast. And clearly today, all by myself. And what do you hear? You don't. It's because the vacuum cleaner's off. Jeez. Sorry about that. I was in Canada last weekend. How's it going, eh? My people. You see, I did it again. That thing. I have some weird things that I do. I don't know why I point them out. The other thing I do is this. I don't know if you can see it. I blow right here on my arm. Kelly will catch me doing it. I'll be like this. Be sitting watching something on TV or reading a book or something, and I'll go. It's this move. And she'll say, you're blowing on your arm again. I'll go, I was? She goes, why do you do that? I go, I don't know. And I don't know why I do this. But once I start, it's very difficult for that to stop for me. So, and now that I've drawn attention to it, so now you'll notice it all the time when I do that. We're talking about classic cooking mistakes, stuff like that. We talked about being lax when you measure, or not being lax, but the measuring spoon thing. And I say, screw it, get rid of them. Just get rid of them. Unless you're baking, of course. How about cooking and putting too much food in the pan? I'm a big fan of the cast iron pan, a really big fan. I think you should be too. They're not expensive. I have my grandmother's cast iron pans. When it comes to cooking a steak, there's hardly a better way on this planet than a good piece of meat in a screaming hot cast iron pan. What it does to the surface of that steak, the caramelization, the browning, the crust, the everything that it does, really hard to beat. Really, really hard to beat. But here's the thing: you've got this pan and it's super hot. If you put one steak in it, it does what it's supposed to do. Sears and does amazing things to the outside of the meat, or the chicken or the fish or whatever it is. If you put 4 steaks in, you just bring that temperature of the pan that might be here right down to here. There. And now it's not having the same effect that you want it to have. So that's why you read recipes that say, cook these in batches, 4 steaks, 4 chicken breasts, whatever it is. Do them in batches of 2. Don't disregard that. And you might be saying, well, I've got a really big pan. Well, a big pan's going to take a lot of time to get hot, and it's probably not going to work. So listen to what they say. We talked about meat stuff the last time I did this. And I'm not going to talk about that now because we don't need to cover. Go back and find the one that I think it's called Meat 101. Some important things in there to know that'll make your meat life infinitely better. How about this? How about not using enough heat when you cook? And I think that's is one of the biggest sins. People are scared of heat all over the place, inside in the pan, outside on the grill, that kind of stuff. But heat does great things to food, particularly the outside where you want it to A, look good, and B, get crusty or super caramelized or whatever. And you can't do that if you have just a little bit of heat in the pan. So crank it up. Whatever you're using now, unless you already adhere to the more heat is better than less heat theory, whatever you're doing now, give it a good 30% more. Now, you're going to be very surprised at how good that is. Stir frying depends. It's absolutely high heat. The hell's the word I want? High heat dependent. That's what I'm trying to say. And a lot of times people are using the wrong kind of pan for that. They're using like a non-stick wok, which defeats the purpose of wok cooking. You just can't get them hot enough. And then people are scared of really turning it up. I put my wok on the heat and I don't put anything into it until it smokes. Then oil goes in. Same thing with cast iron pans. You'll be fine with that. You should use a thermometer. Don't leave it up to chance, because very often chance ends up with dry food, with you having dry food. You can do this, this little poke test. If you make a circle between your thumb and your forefinger, not a tight circle, not like you're squeezing your fingers together, just touch them gently. This little fat pad right here, they say that's essentially rare. The next finger, you'll feel it tighten a little bit. Move to the ring finger, the middle finger, and now that has become medium rare. And then this is medium, and then that's well done. You can feel how hard it is when you use your baby finger. And again, I'm just touching them. I'm not squeezing. Hard, well done. Soft, rare. Hard, well done. No bueno. Soft, rare, or medium rare. Muy bueno. Very good. There's way more flavor in when it comes to beef anyways. Medium, rare, or rare. Way more flavor. I know people get all hung up. So the point is, don't leave it up to chance. Try a good thermometer. We talked about that last time. I talked about the Thermapen. I'll talk about it now. For whatever it is, if you're not comfortable cooking fish to a certain temperature, then don't worry about it. Then get a thermometer. And I know they say instant read thermometers, but, oh God, hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm back. Hold on. I'm going to show you something. I don't think I did this last time. But here's Here's the thermopen. This is what the thermopen looks like. You open it up. Okay, you see the temperature right there? 80 degrees, okay? Here is a, I don't know where this even came from. Here's an instant read thermometer. This kind, right? So if I turn it on, the ambient temp in this room is going to be whatever it is. So wait, Celsius, how do I put it to Fahrenheit? There we go. Okay, so look what you've got. You've got, why is this not? Got the wrong thing in my hand. That was stupid. So I've got 85 here. And I've got 84, and 81. Okay, you can see this one. Sorry, it's a little out of focus. The temperature's rising. The point is this. This is considered an instant read thermometer. But you're about to see how not instant it is. I'm going to wrap my hand around it, and it should take you to my, at least, external body temperature. So here we go. And then I'm going to do it with this one, and you're going to see the difference in time. So I'll do this guy first. It'd be better if somebody else had the camera here. Okay, so there's this. And then there's this. Uh-oh, I forgot if I can do this. It's hold on. Okay, this one, 92.3. Okay, this is a bad example. Sorry, I take all this back. But if you put these two things in hot water, you would find this guy. I've been messing around with this one in my hand. You would find that this big guy, the thermopen, reads in like 2 or 3 seconds. This little guy, which also is considered an instant read, reads in about 10, 12 seconds. So forget this little demonstration that just failed right here in front of me. But okay. The point is, when you open up your oven to check the temperature of a roast or chicken or a fillet or something like that, the longer you have to wait for the temperature to read, 12 seconds, 13 seconds, the more hot air escapes, and then that's not going to help you when you shut the door. That's why this guy that reads in a couple of seconds, literally 2, 3. If you watch the demonstration for the Thermapen on their website, spelled Thermapen, Thermapen, you'd be blown away by how fast it happens. It's not movie magic. They just put them in one thing, and the temperature reads real fast and then real slow. You'd be surprised at that. All right. So, look, I could go on. I don't want this to be too long today. Not my preferred type of live cast, but some good information all the same. And I hope you've just enjoyed. I probably should have said at the beginning, sit down, pour yourself a drink. I'll put that in the little comments. Sit down, pour yourself a drink, and watch. You'll learn something. At the very least, you'll get to sit here while I run into the room and get these things for my failed demonstration. All right. I'm not sure what Friday's show will be. I mean, I don't know who's going to be back. I think probably at least Lynn will be here. We'll be able to shoot by ourselves and kind of continue, or at least try and semi-finish off Summer Salad Week. We did that the Summer Pasta Week. We did the lobster pasta the other day that was spectacular, really good, super simple, made with lobster tails. You should take a look at that. A little bit of red pepper flake in there that made it super, really, really delicious. So, all right. I hope that your food life is getting better. Really, that was my goal in the beginning. Well, that and find a job for myself. But once I sort of got rolling, it was very simple. I wanted people to watch and cook, go out less, spend money out less, have bad food out less, be able to have cocktails at home and not have to worry about driving home from having cocktails at some restaurant or whatever. Not trying to take things away from the restaurants. I think I'm trying to give you a better appreciation for food that you can create yourself. That's really what all this is. And then when you go out, you'll be a much better consumer. You know what you like. Okay. Look, that's it for me. Thanks for hanging out with us. It means very much, honestly, that you hang and spend some time and watch the live cast and tell your friends about it. It really does. So thank you from me, and there's nobody else here. There's dogs. Can I do this? Hold on. There's, I can't really get this any closer. Hold on. Look at 2 dogs right there. There they are. Louis. Louis. Here he is. There's Louis. Hey, Louis, come here. Hold on. Sorry. And there we go. And There's Lewis. All right, little boy. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Louie says goodbye. Haley and Lucky say goodbye. And we'll see you guys next time. All right. Thanks for being here. Bye.